Cindy Moss, and today we're going to go over Excel Module 2, Project 1B. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to download your start file. You do not have any type of a support file for this, so you want to download that. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you. And right here it is. There's mine, and I'm going to share it. Okay, so you should be able to see mine, and it should say Shelley Cashman Module 2, Project 1, Project B, and it's Southwest Beverages. And of course, the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go up here and we're going to do File, Save As, and we're going to change that 1 to a 2. And notice I'm putting mine on my desktop so that when I submit it for a grade, if I have errors, I can go back in there and change and make my corrections on my original file. So I hit save and I'm going to tell it yes. Okay. So, no. Okay. All right. So we're ready to go. So the first thing tells us to go to the SKU worksheet, which is down here, if you see that right there. Now remember, these are called tabs, the worksheet tabs. And the first thing that it wants us to do is to change the name. So I'm going to right mouse click on it and I'm going to rename it. And I'm going to do SKU, what is it? SKU list. And it has to be exactly like they tell it. Hit your enter key or it will be considered wrong. All right, step number 2 tells us to left align the contents in A3 through A13. So remember, up here it tells you wherever your cursor's at in that cell block. So I'm going to go to A3, which is right there. And you can see it went A3 to A13, and I'm going to left align. Now, when you're doing this, these up here are not left align. These are top, middle, and bottom. So make sure that you come here and you choose left align. When I point my cursor up there, it's going to change it. All right, so then it moves it over to the left. Number 3 tells us to format the list of SKUs to emphasize the information together. So A tells us to apply a border. So I'm going to click on 1 and I'm just going to drag it down to 13 because it says A3, whoops, A3, no, A1 through C13. So I've got all that. And it wants us to apply an outside border. This right here is my border list. It's on my font tab. So I click and I come to outside border. And then it wants us to change the color. So I'm going to go to my border colors. All right. And what I did was I clicked my more button and I go to border and I go to color and I'm looking for pink accent 3, which is right there. Now, one thing that I have found when I'm doing this is I always click and see if it changed it. I can't tell that it did. So I'm going to do this again just to make sure. More, let's see, I want line color. What was my pink accent? So click. All right. Now let me undo that. I want to undo that. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Let's see. Undo, undo, undo. Okay. All right. Let me escape this. It's just for some reason. Okay. What I want to do here is I want to do this font. And I want to go to borders. There you go. That's what I was looking for. I didn't have my borders clicked. There's my color. And you notice it's still that plum. But what I found that if I don't do this, it counts it wrong. So I click here, I click there, I click at the bottom and I click there. And that way I know that that has been applied all around. Don't use outline. It will count that wrong. You have to do it from up here and do outside border and tell it okay. Now you see I've got that border and I've got one up here, but don't worry about that. Let me see if I can get rid of that. Let me go on here and put no border. Okay, so that got rid of that. All right, number 4 tells us to apply the short date to B15. Right down here is B15. Now, this is considered long date. Short date, if you come up here and you click short date, that's just the number 5/8/28. So I click on that. So no, always know that anytime it's a short date, it wants it to be month, day, month, and year, but it wants a number format. All right. In a page layout view, all right, go to go up here to your view and go to page layout. And you have to be in this view in order to do step number 5. They want you to do a header. And so you notice that your header has 3 parts, left, center, and right. They want you to go to the center and we're going to type warehouse, SKU, and lowercase s. And then you hit enter. And then when I go, that's going to be there. So when somebody else opens this worksheet, they will know exactly what they're looking at. It has a header. And I can go back to regular page layout. But I'm going to go to the inventory list. So my step number 6 says to go to inventory list. So I click on inventory list and it goes back to my normal view. So I could have went out. I just knew my next step was going into that. So I just hit the normal view. All right, to make it stand out, format the worksheet title cell in A1 as files. So this is my worksheet tab. So I'm going to, number 1 says to merge and center A1 through H1. So I select it, I drag, I highlight that whole cell. Because if you look at it, the warehouse inventory is only in cell A1. And what they want it to do is to be merged across the whole worksheet. So I click on merge and center, and you notice now it's still A1, but A1 is one big cell, A1 through H1. All right, so we've merged and centered it. B tells us to change the font to Calibri Light. So I click on that and I've got to go up to Calibri. Make sure you choose light. Then it makes it wants to be a 24. So all of this is on my font tab. Make it 24. They want us to change the font color, which is right here. And it is blue gray accent 6, which I think is the last one. Yep. Anytime you hover over it, should give you a description. And then it to bold it. So then I bold it. So now anybody that opens up this worksheet, it pops. This is my warehouse inventory. All right. Resize the width of column A using auto fit to display the full description. Now, here is A1 and a shortcut. I'm going to show you, but do not use this because they want you to format it using AutoFit. But if you're ever working in a worksheet on your own and you need to increase it, you can come up here right between where I get my crosshair, double click it, and it automatically will do that. But now I'm going to undo that and put it back. I'm coming over here to format, and this is my column width. Right there's auto fit. And oops, you know why? Because I didn't select it. Format it, auto fit. So now it auto fits it. Number 8, Sierra wants you to display the entire text in E7, but to format it so it requires less horizontal space. So they want us to do the column E. So again, I have to select it, come over here to my format, And again, I'm doing column width, but this time I'm not doing auto fit. What I'm doing is I'm making it a specific width. So I click on that and I do, it wants it to be 8.50 and I tell it okay. Then they want us to wrap the contents of E7. So click on E7 again. There I'm looking. I know I'm there. Come up here on my alignment tab. You see where it says wrap text. And what that does, instead of making it long reorder because then quantity doesn't show, it makes it on 2 lines. So now we have it on 2 lines. Number 9, Sierra asks you to find any duplicate entries and delete them. And so how you're going to do that is you're going to select A8 through A18. All right, so that's where what she's asking is there's some on there that are duplicates, and she says we don't want any duplicates, so let's get rid of them. So I select A is A8 through A18, and then you're going to use conditional formatting. And I suggest you learn to use this because you can use this and not just this class, but if you're wanting to do stats, maybe you're the person on the team that keeps up with the stats of your players. You can actually set up a worksheet and format how many, say for instance, this is the football season, how many passes the quarterback threw in a game, or how many interceptions did they get, or how many first downs did they make, or anything like that. So the conditional formatting is a really cool tool that you will want to be able to use. All right, so I'm coming up here to conditional formatting. I've got what I want it to do, and I click on conditional formatting, and I'm going to highlight cell rules. And then I'm coming down here because she wanted us to do duplicate values. So I click on duplicates, and it says there's duplicates. And it tells us to do the light red field with dark red text. There's several colors, but this is the probably the standard one that most of them use. So I tell it, okay. Notice two of them have popped up, seltzer and vodka. And so she says, delete the second duplicate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click out. I'm coming over here and you see how my cursor is that little black line. I click on that because I can't just highlight it because remember, it goes through a whole workbook here. So if I just click on it, it does the whole row throughout every page. And then I right mouse click and I hit delete. And now it's gotten rid of that one. All right, number 10. So I click out. Number 10 says to apply shading to A4. So there's A4 through B5. So I click and then I drag it down. So look on your screen and make sure you only have A4, B4, A5 and that. And then I am doing shading. Now remember I told you at the very in module 1 that anytime it says shading, think of a paint bucket. Think about painting, how you're shading something to emphasize it. So I come up here to my paint bucket and I'm looking for plum accent 1. So there's plum, I think that's it, plum accent 1. Well, oh, that is awful. So that won't work. But they want us to go to 90%, which is right there. And I click on that. Come on. There you go. And now you see it's just a light pink that you can be able to see. All right. In number 11 tells us to format the values as a proper dollar amount by decreasing the number of zeros. So I click on B5 and I'm coming over here and I'm going to decrease it. Oops, wait, I'm increasing. Sorry. Let me go over here to decrease until it's $2. So it should be $5,256. Generally, you don't have tons of zeros after your decimal point. So we decreased it. And remember, that's increase. That was my mistake. And there's decrease. All right, now we're going to keep a running count of items in the inventory. And this is called Count A. And so it says to go to B5. So you're going to click there, and we're going to enter a formula that uh, count a function. You uses the function. Now, again, remember from module one, anytime it tells you to use function, you're going to use your function key. So you click down and you come to, and you're looking for count a. Double click, and it brings up this function argument. It's argument. So you got to tell it where to go get it. And it's we're going to do A8 through A15. So I'm looking for A8 through A15. Whoa, wait a minute, wait a minute. A8 through A17. Sorry, I knew something was wrong there. So you could type it in there. You could do equals count A8 through A15. But use your function key. Those help you make it a little quicker. So I tell it, okay. And it says, all right, you have 10 items. So that's what they're wanting to know is how many counts did we have? All right, number 13 says apply the pink accent 3 cell style to A7 through H7. So I select A7 through H7. Now you have to remember it says cell styles. So you've got to come over here to your styles, click down, and I'm looking for, what am I, pink accent 3. So it should be that one right there. And notice I got the cursor and it popped up and it said pink accent 3. So tell it, okay. Okay, then number 14 says apply accounting number format through F8, F8 through G16. So G17 right there. Okay, so make sure you got F up here, G, and then 8 through that. And we want this to be the accounting number. Now, there's a difference between, and I don't think that the book tells you this, but there's a difference between accounting numbers and currency numbers. Accounting numbers, the dollar sign is always left aligned with your cell. Currency numbers, the dollar sign is right up against the first number. So this wants this to be accounting. So I click down and there's my accounting and there it is. Okay. And then notice, and I have students, they'll freak out when they see all these number signs. All that means is that that cell is not big enough to accommodate your full accounting number. So we're going to click G. Remember how we did this? We came over to Format and Autofit. And now you've got your numbers. And again, notice where my dollar signs are. That was good English. It's up against in the very left side of the cell. All right, number 15 says in the range B8 through G16. So I'm going to B8 through G16. Whoop, there you go. All right. We are going to, no, I'm not G, it's G8 through G16. Whew, that would have been a big one. So I thought that didn't look right. G8 through G17, we're going to go back to doing some more conditional formatting because she needs to know what group here has the most inventory. So again, I'm going back up to conditional formatting and we're doing data bars. So I'm coming to my data bars and she wants them to be a solid blue. And so by looking at this, when I click out, you can look and see that the highest inventory we have is under the seltzer and vodka, and the second half is the wine spritzer. So she can just look at this worksheet and know what is your probably going to be your best sellers, because that if you're keeping more on inventory, that's going to be the ones that you're going to sell. All right. Number 16, she wants us to highlight the items that need to be reordered. And so again, we're going to be doing conditional formatting, and I'm going to select H8 through H17, conditional formatting, and it tells us to highlight cell width, and it's going to be value equal to, is that what I want it to do? Yeah. Yeah, value equal to, and where that's got a zero, you're going to delete the zero and you're going to type reorder. And again, light red. And so when I click out, she can again look at this worksheet and say, oh, we need to reorder the colas, the orange, the domestic beers, the energy drinks, and the wine spritzers. See, that was her second best seller, so she wants to make sure she has plenty of inventory for that. All right. Then we're coming up here to I3, and we're going to do average. She's wanting to know what her average cost of all 10 of these are. So again, I'm going to my function because it says function, double click, and I'm looking at F8. So I select F8 through F17, and I tell it okay. And the average of all of my sales is going to be for per cost is $12.80. Then I'm doing minimum and function key, and there's my minimum. Double click on it, and again select the row. Tell it okay, $6. And the last one is the maximum cost. Which one of them is the highest amount? And again, you've got to select, you can type it in, but to me it's easier just to select it and tell it okay, and it's 20. So by looking at this, Stella can say, okay, the average cost of what we're selling is almost $13. Our minimum cost is $6, which is your seltzer water. And then the highest we're selling is the energy drink. So she's making more profit on the energy drink than she is anything. So that would be able to tell her, okay, we need to really push these energy drinks when we're trying to sell to our to the public or to whoever we're doing to. All right. Number 20 is to check the spelling. So always check your spelling. So go to review, go to spelling and orange. And you can just do it once, but in my opinion, I just do change all just in case, because if I've misspelled it once, I've probably misspelled it again. And then injury, and then again, change all. And it says, do you want to begin at the beginning? Yes, because see, right now it was only checking this worksheet. So I want it to go back and check that first worksheet too. So I tell it, okay. And then number 21 says to change the tab color on inventory list. Click on inventory list, right mouse click, go to tab color and change it to plum accent 1, which is that one right there. I don't like those dark colors. And then we're finished. And so now I want to save it, and then I'm going to minimize it. And then I'm going to go into, and I'm going to keep it down here on my screen. And then I'm going to minimize it. And then I'm going to go upload it into MindTap, Sam. I'm going to get my report and I'm going to say, oh my goodness, here's some things that are wrong. I'm going to bring it right back up. Let me pull it back up. And then I say, okay, for instance, maybe I didn't have this correct. All I have to do is correct it on that. I have to go back out of MindTap, open it back, open up the submit again and resubmit it and get it another, get 100 on my thing. So that is number two, module two. So thank you and let me know if you have any questions and I will get three posted real quickly. Thanks.